I'll be rich until they got the rhythm and the hype. Talking about the noise brigade, stirring up noise all night. They dive deep into the madness. No topic left unturned, from corn dog to Johnny Bench. It's the knowledge we have learned, LRG have learned. LRG shipping woes, they shed light on it all. No cryptids left unknown, they'll tear down every wall. The rebels of the podcast world, breaking all the rules, giving voice to the unheard, making sure no one falls. From wrestling to mysteries,
What's going on, man?
What up, dog?
A whole lot. We were getting on the concept and discussion of cards again, and just how many ridiculous amount of parallels and variations there are these days. Just
Yeah, it's kind of crazy out there in the card collecting community, if you will. It's just like there's variants of variants of variants of variants. Like, holy crap!
yeah, things have changed a lot of gone pretty far since the old Billy Ripken days, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah. Back then, you had to have fuckface written on the knob of your bat in order to make a splash. Now,
Yeah.
you know, you're getting rainbow sprinkled Easter egg bunny rabbits all over
Yeah.
the woods, and you know, it's it's crazy. It's cool though. I mean, like, look, a lot of the cards, a lot of the parallels and the variants and stuff look really cool. Like I pulled a Griffey out of a 2024 pack of cards. I'm not going to complain. I think we've talked about this multiple times before. He's my favorite player of all time, and I'm never going to complain about pulling a Griffey. You know?
And there's something to that too, because it's like brings you back.
Yeah.
It's like you're a kid all over again.
I kind of wish that I would have waited and opened the pack, like opened the box on the air, and then you could have heard me squeal like a little girl.
I can edit it in.
I mean, yeah, you might as well. This space reserved for Bobby squealing like a little girl. Like, yeah, I mean, hey, what are you gonna do? I am who I am.
It is cool though, and there it just I don't want to go down the rabbit hole again on it. We've done a pretty good justice with it, but no, it is really neat though. Some of the stuff that's out there, and like you said, very very for the most part visually appealing, and definitely catering to the right audiences too, because they're really touching all corners on it at this point.
Yeah,
they do a nice job with it, and like I said, my only reservations are sometimes the cost is just crazy. But
yeah. Like what was it? I think it's like a 40 pack at Target is $6.99.
It's just it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's a little nuts, but it's still it's addicting. It's fun. It's doesn't hurt anybody. It's not heroin. So
yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Good point. You sent a couple things in text. I didn't know if you wanted to touch one first or the other, or one, or how.
Yeah, let's crack into the xBox concept that they're thinking about going with for the next gen of consoles, because I thought that was really interesting. At first I was like, dude, no, there's no way they're going to do this. And I started thinking back, and I put the two examples in, and I thought, well, maybe it's not that crazy after all. But so there's rumors going around that Microsoft's next Xbox is actually going to be almost like a proof of concept console, where they're going to put it out as an example, and they're going to license it to other companies, so that instead of just Microsoft making the next generation Xbox, you're going to be able to buy a Lenovo Xbox. You're going to be able to buy a Dell Xbox, or whatever gaming company wants to put one out. And so my question to you is, number one, how do you feel about the Xbox kind of jumping into almost gaming PC space? Number one. And number two, do you think this is going to lead to a disparity in the specs between the Xboxes, and or the ability to upgrade your own Xbox?
I have two thoughts on that. Yeah, one, I do think it might I don't know. I'd say cloud is probably the wrong word. I think it's a good entry concept into people that might want to really dive into PC gaming. Like, hey, we have 5 different companies that we've allowed to do an Xbox. Let's say Lenovo, Dell, whatever, right? And we kind of have their parameters that they have to abide by, but you have your choice of doing whatever, and maybe that's like somebody's dipping their toe in the water, if you will, of getting into like, okay, build your own gaming rig. You know, I kind of think console gaming kind of does that anyway. For some people, it's like, ooh, what's the next, logical thing? We're of the generation it was almost reverse, though. Like a lot of us started gaming on computers before the console, especially if you were a certain age, So it just, but I think it's a cool idea. Um, the other part, though, and I do wonder, like with your question too, is where's the limitations on, does Lenovo offer this and Dell doesn't? Or this is released, hey, the Lenovo said I'm going to do this 3 months from now, but Dell already released it. And then you've got some inner wars going on.
Right, right.
I don't know. What do you think?
I'm intrigued. I think that my only major concern is that, we saw in the past with the 3DO and the CDI that fragmenting your user base like that across different companies' iterations of it, it can be problematic. Whereas, certain the drive, now obviously the drive specs are going to be a lot different than what they were back in the day, but certain versions of certain consoles work better than others. And I would just hate to see that affect, when if you're playing with somebody who's playing on an Xbox, but playing Dell Xbox versus HP Xbox, and there's some slight difference in the architecture or something where they have a little bit faster RAM than you have, and it causes some kind of lag on your end, and you end up, like say if you're playing football, you end up getting sacked or something because there's, and I realize that this is really far-fetched because I'm sure that there's going to be some kind of software like artificial limiting in it, but I would just hate to see some kind of compatibility issues, I guess.
Right.
Would be the best way. And also, as we've seen through the years, some of those systems work better than the others. The Panasonic 3DO, has ended up being different than, I forget who else put out the 3DO. There was I think there were 3 versions of the 3DO. And they've all had different lifespans, and some of them are higher quality than others. And do you really want to dilute your brand by letting people put out something that may actually end up being substandard, but it has your name on it?
The 3DO, and I just was trying to find. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
So overall, there were not that these are all released, but there was 9 different variations.
Okay.
There was I believe a couple canceled models in here, but several Panasonic models, a Sanyo, Gold Star, and they have a couple of others. But the one that, and I just found this on Reddit real quick, there was actually an AT&T model that was canceled. So it's pretty interesting. But yeah, no, you're not wrong. The other thing too is that even the PC gaming space, they always try to outdo each other, and then they have their own I could be misspeaking here at this point, but a lot of these guys had started like Dell when they acquired Alienware, like that was their big thing, and then you had HP starting the Omen stuff. And so I don't know if they go down that road or they brand it that way. If that's even where it's gonna go down, is like they really aim it toward gaming.
Right.
So it's like the Alienware Xbox or whatever. I don't know. It sounds cool. I mean, I might actually buy that. But the other thing I wonder too is, do you still have the, like you have now, where you have the 2 different models? So you have your lower tier, your upper tier your X and your S. So do you have your
Right.
entry level, then you have your full blown? And how many different ways can we spin this now? It's
Right, and that's my concern too. Is like different RAM speeds, different read write speed for the solid state drive, whether or not there's a disk drive. Obviously, if they go this route, I'm going with whoever has a disk drive. But my other question too is, I wonder who actually jumps on this, knowing that they're going to be making games for PlayStation as well. Like, who's going to dive into the Xbox ecosystem, knowing that, well, the biggest publisher for them is making multi-platform games. Now, I guess that question is kind of answered by PC, who makes PC games, but I don't know, man. It's just weird to me to think that they're going to go that route. But
yeah, I mean, a PC alternative, because we've discussed on here a couple different times before about them just kind of, hey, this is the end of our hardware. We're just going to focus on software, and and really, to me, that still makes sense to some degree. But there's still, to me, there's money to be made there. They know it, and I think if you're trying to cast a wide net, this might be a good way to do it. And then you're kind of like, to me anyway, you're looking at it. Gamers are gamers, but you're kind of scoping in maybe a different subset of audience where it's like, okay, maybe I can get these guys really vested into PC gaming and whatever, and we can go down that road with it. I don't know. I'd be interesting to see if that actually does come to fruition. Because
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see, what the aesthetics would look like, that sort of thing.
yeah, that's a good point too. Is for the longest time, the game systems have been defined by their aesthetics, how they look, and PlayStation 2 models all had that iconic, like, ridged look. Even when you go down to the Slim, it still had the ridges and stuff. The 360 had its light ring, and the PS5 obviously looks like a piece of modern art. The Xbox Series X looks like a monolith, and so to see if these different companies try to make their own cool designs, or if they just make basic blah designs, that'll be cool to see too, if it goes that way.
Yeah, and that's the I don't know. I guess the neat part about it is that you would think there's still going to be some commonalities. Like controller, obviously, would be as you can easily, anyone, whether it's wired or wireless, and you've been able to do this for years, is take that controller and plug it into just about anything else that's been released in the last 10, 15 years, and you find some way to use it. I mean, they just work. That's
Right.
what they're meant to do. And I'd be curious to see that too. Is just, okay, I've got this cool looking system, and they gave me the ability to design the controller just a little differently. I don't know. Just making a bigger model, making a smaller model. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Hey, I as comfortable as they are, sometimes it would be nice to have a bigger controller.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. So the second thing that I had brought to you was, and this was something that Jason Kelsey was asked about recently, and gave his answer. And basically, in a nutshell, and I'm going to paraphrase, he doesn't wash his feet. The soap just kind of runs down, and when he's in the shower, so he lets the soap and water run down, and it cleans his legs and his feet when he's in the shower. So where do you fall in that subject?
I just was pulling up. I found an article about this and just kind of reading through. I honestly think it's funny that it's gotten to this point. That's how hot of an item this dude is. This is what we're talking about,
Right?
it just cracks me up.
He was ours first, America.
Yeah, exactly. It just cracks me up. Uh, you know, it, I think in my mind on this, you want to try to maintain some kind of semblance of cleanliness. So, give it a go every once in a while. But one of the things, and I know this is different, but is I've heard it both ways, to not wash your hair every time, because the natural oils are good for it. Whether or not that's I don't know, but I've been known to do that, mainly because when I especially have my hair a lot longer, it's a pain, so um I don't know. I tend to want to say that you'd want to do your feet a little more often.
So, I mean, look, I'll be honest. I've recently started to do it more only because we took all the carpets and everything out of our house, and
Yeah, and
my feet are getting more dirty if I'm not wearing socks. But I'm with him, dude. I rarely wash my legs because I feel like they get clean from the fucking soap and the water going down.
yeah, no, that I can
And
definitely see.
and like I don't know. I mean, sometimes I do. Like if I'm out working in the yard and I'm like, dude, no, I'm grody.
Oh yeah,
I need to clean this stuff off. I'll do it. If I have a date or something like that, then yeah, I'm gonna scrub. But if it comes down to like my daily showering routine, I'm not fucking reaching down and washing my shins. Nobody cares if my shins are dirty. Like, who cares? No, and plus they get clean just by the water and the soap going down anyway. So
yeah.
but that does, but you brought up another good point, and that's actually I wanted to kind of get into our not necessarily like I don't need to know your fucking routine. Like I've heard that too, that your natural oils, and I used to be like, no, that's gross. I'm gonna wash my hair every time. But I noticed now that if I since I've started only washing every other time, like I wash my hair and my beard, I've noticed that between the product that I'm using and giving it that day to like recover, my hair is actually fuller, my beard is softer, my hair is softer, and my hair looks better, and I don't have as dry a scalp.
Yeah, I think there's something to it, and I don't know, what it is. I think they're just the natural oils and whatever else is it's just good for it. I don't
Yeah,
know. It makes sense that it would be.
right.
Um, but it's funny though, being shorter, like with mine now. But here's the thing though, I don't outwardly think about it. It's just easier for me to do it because it is shorter. So like I'll just do it more often. But then conversely though, it does seem to be a little drier, whatever. But then the other part of it too is I'm not using as much of the stuff I used to put in my hair,
Right.
which is shiny. So, it's I don't know. It's interesting though, and I don't know, really look, as long as you don't smell like
Yeah, I mean, like I use deodorant,
yeah,
I use cologne. I make sure that I don't smell bad. I put the oil in my beard, like I'm going out not smelling bad, but I just can't see. Dude, I don't understand. Like I guess I guess I do. I understand people who scrub. I'm not gonna say I don't because that would be weird. Then I would be weird. Like if I'm questioning other people's routine.
right.
But I do have to question this. And this is a question that somehow it came up at work and I don't even remember how. And I'm the only one who answered the way I did in my entire like on my shift. Okay. So I pose this question to you. Do you pee in the shower?
No.
Thank you. Thank you for being normal like me, who realizes that there is a toilet but 2 feet from the shower
Yeah. Like
that you
literally 6 inches
use.
away.
Right. You use that before you get into the shower, and then you don't have to pee in the shower.
Yeah.
Because I work on a shift with all females, and 201, they all said that they pee in the shower.
Wow. Hmm.
And dude, I can't abide. Like, That's gross.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin with that one.
But they treated me like I was the weirdo because I don't pee in the shower.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably a 50-50. I would think. I don't know.
I asked them though. I was like, "All right, so then when you're done peeing in the shower, do you poop and then waffle stomp it down the drain? Like, is that what you do? Because if you pee in the shower, then clearly that's you're not that far removed from taking a big old deuce in there.
And then do you wash your feet?
Yeah. So that's my. I mean, like it weirded me out that every single one of them pees in the shower. I'm like, no, you don't. That's why there's a toilet. They're two separate things for a reason. Come on now.
Oh
Do
man.
better.
Well, I don't want to go too long here today, but you got anything else you want to chat on?
No, I think the only things left to say are fuck the Mets and Dallas sucks.